Hello, we're back. Welcome to Indie Game Social Club's bi-weekly catch-up chat, Smalltalk. I am your scary TV Slender Man, Brian. With me today, I have the lovely, the beautiful Ilker. Say hello, Ilker.
Hello.
Hello. Let me double check the stream health, make sure everything's going okay.
Sure.
Nothing wonky is playing. So far, so good.
Yeah, basically pros now.
Yeah, if you are joining us for the first time, I have very cold hands, so I like to warm them in my armpits every now and then.
My hands are actually also really cold today.
Yeah, that's why I'm always sitting on my hands or like putting them in my armpits, and it's like not a nervous tick. I'm just cold.
I'm doing this.
Yeah,
but
we're mittens.
Out of screen.
No judgments. If you're joining us for the first time, we are a book club with no books that started last year as an excuse to finally play the Steam games that we bought on sale years and years ago. Normally, we pick a monthly game and discuss it. This month's game is called What the Golf. We typically play it and we discuss it with our greater group, which consists of about, I think, 6 people at this point. And we're going to do it this Sunday, around the same time, roughly. Actually, exactly the same time, I believe. But right
same
now,
time as today.
Exactly. I think so. The reason why I hesitate is because we have daylight savings time different than Sweden. Yeah. So we should check. I think it corrects itself this Sunday for you guys. When do you guys change your time?
I think it's the night from Saturday to Sunday, so it should be all right on Sunday.
So does that mean that our times will get closer or farther apart?
Closer.
Okay. So 8 hours instead of 9 hours, I think.
Yeah, because we adjusted 1 hour ahead. Yeah.
There you go.
I think we should be back on the regular schedule.
I swear to God, no matter how much that shit we prepare for and how much we tell people in chat, no one's gonna show up on Sunday because people are gonna be like, wait, I thought it was an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Probably, yeah.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on this week. We finished Little Nightmares. We have this podcast. Tomorrow we're continuing our saga with Simon on The Witness, which is a phenomenal game. We're gonna finish that tomorrow. Yes. Hopefully. And then our podcast, and then our monthly discussion on Sunday.
Yeah.
With that said, Ilker,
busy week.
What have you been playing the past 2 weeks? Because I missed last week.
Yeah, we missed last week, but yeah, I've been pretty busy with work actually the past week, so I haven't got down to play anything new really. I continued playing a little bit of Yakuza.
Okay.
I've been talking about that game for a few episodes now.
Well,
not gonna talk.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean it's still fun. I'm starting to feel like it is time to finish this game. I'm doing less and less side quests.
You're very much a completionist. You like to look at the nooks and crannies, but for like a long game like Yakuza could make it go like tens of hours.
They make it kind of work as well because all these side quests will usually lead to getting a new summon or a pound mate.
Oh, see, I could never play that game then because if there's a cool power that I'm missing or a character that's only accessible if you complete certain things, that's the death of me for sure.
Yep, and you have there's this mini game where we're trying to build a business basically, a corporation. And by finishing side quests, you will also get new people that you can hire, which are like better quality staff. Basically, you have common, rare, and I think it's like gold tier staff that you can recruit. And finishing quests or side quests will actually reward you with like better quality staff, basically.
Wow! So has your opinion changed on Yakuza since you started it weeks and weeks ago?
No, it hasn't. I still love that game. I still think the characters are super lovable and the story is chaotic, but I kind of like it.
I mean, what I appreciate about it is from what you've shown us, there's a lot of gameplay variety because
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're playing like a 20, 40, 80-hour game, like you got to
Hmm.
keep the player engaged. And traditionally JRPGs are kind of one note most of the way through with the
Yeah.
story carrying a lot. But you told me there was a Mario Kart thing
There
in
is a
there?
Mario Kart. It's called Dragon Kart,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it is. It could be its own little game actually.
And it's actually
Like you
fleshed
have,
out and it controls well and everything.
yeah, it controls really well actually. It's super fun, and I mean, Sega is publishing it. I don't know if they have something to do with that. If they like put some elements from Sonic Racing or something like that into
Yeah,
that, but
probably. Yeah.
um, but yeah, like you have like full courses, you have like circuits, you tournaments, and you have rivals, and you're trying to beat them in each tournament. You will get a new rival, and then you'll have a dialogue after that, and they're like, I can't believe you beat me, but next time I will get you in. And
Yeah.
there's this whole like side story with just the karting.
Are there other mini games aside from karting?
Yeah, you have the karting, you have the karaoke, which is just a music
Rhythm
game,
game? Yeah.
and that is also I really love that because it will start with you just singing in the karaoke bar,
Yeah.
but in the middle of the song it will transition into a music video, and like everything just
Nice.
changes, and you stand in a sea, like you actually see a music video basically. So you have that, and you have the corporation, the business side where you actually like um, you're hiring new staff, you're taking care of your staff, you're leveling them up, and you do like this business cycle. So you're trying to like prepare for each cycle,
Right.
where you you open up your businesses, and you make money, and after that you have to like take care of stuff, and then you like a new cycle begins, and after 3 cycles you will have board meeting, which is its own mini game where you have to answer questions, and you have to choose 4 staff members that will represent you in the board meeting.
Yeah.
And like these are basically like bosses that you have your staff members fight
Wow. I
during
mean,
this. And
it's crazy, but it sounds like just like if you were to create one experience that would summarize Japanese culture to an alien, you let them play this game, right? Because like
sure, for
they
sure.
invented kart racing, they invented rhythm games, they like all this stuff is squeezed into one game, which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, it is fantastic. I love that game. Like, yeah,
Great.
I'm a huge Japan nerd, and like for me, it's just
It's the closest you can get to
it's
traveling there without being there at this point.
something. Yeah, just running on the streets and looking at these restaurants that I can eat at.
Yes. So that is your update on Yakuza Like a
That is the,
Dragon.
yeah, because I think I might be 40 or 50 hours in. I actually looked it up. There's 15 chapters, and I'm on chapter 10, so I'm
Wow.
getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
So you could power through if you
Um,
wanted, but you still want to take your time with it.
yeah, yeah,
That's fair.
I still want to do.
Yeah.
Still want to enjoy it. The other game I've been playing, I actually got really into Hyrule Warriors. That is a
Hyrule
game that I've been
Warriors.
playing on my lunch breaks because yeah, I work from home, so I can just lay down on the couch for half an hour and play some Hyrule Warriors levels. Um,
Didn't you? So tell me about your experience because you initially were like very meh about it, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm still a little bit mad about it. It's as I said the first time I talked about it, it was like it is good dumb fun. Like I'm just mashing buttons and killing a lot of enemies, and I don't know, just it is fun, but it's like it's not doing it that much more for me.
Yeah.
But then again, I do a lot of side quests, and I just try to finish all the side things before progressing the story. And yeah, since last time, I actually tried to progress the story some, and they do some wild shit with that story. They actually go somewhere where I didn't expect them to go.
Interesting.
I'm gonna talk about spoilers, but this game has been out for a while. But
Uh-huh.
they introduced time travel,
I
and
mean, they do that early on in the game, no? In the opening
do they?
cutscene,
Oh,
basically.
yeah, they
Yeah.
do. Yeah, of course. But they actually they start pulling characters from Breath of the Wild into Warriors.
I'm like that
Um,
Eurovision meme where the guy in the audience is like,
Yeah. um, yeah, like basically, you play play Breath of the Wild. You
Yeah,
know
I
what
loved
happens.
it, and
Like,
I love the
yeah,
universe. I love the character.
yeah.
I love the story world building. I just could
Hmm.
not get into the hack and slash. I used to love hack and slash games, but
Yeah.
God, I can just fall asleep playing these hack and slash games. You know, it's kind
Remember
of worn
when
out.
these games were called hack and slash? Now they just call them Muso games.
Is that it? Yeah, I hear Giant Bomb
Yeah,
talking about it a lot like that. But is
I heard the word.
Muso the name of a game that pioneered this kind of like running
I
around in the
think it's a
world?
I think it's a Japanese genre. Basically, the name of the genre.
Oh,
Because you have
okay,
a lot of Japanese name for different genres.
gotcha.
That's also one of a Japanese gotcha. There's also a Japanese category of games.
Gotcha games.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it got interesting. Like they I don't know. Like you know what happens in Breath of the Wild. They all these heroes they die, and Link is the only one that can like
Yeah,
he survives, and they put him in this cryo chamber for 100 years.
yeah,
So I'm here expecting to like how are they going to how is this going to end? Like because we know that everyone dies and Link
right.
just gets knocked out.
Unless he splits into an alternate timeline. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and now they're
They've done
just
it
like
before.
introducing time. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, and that kind of messed up the whole Zelda timeline because you have like 3 different timelines that split
yeah.
from Ocarina of Time.
Right. But
Um,
they've never really made sense, to be honest to me. It's just like, can't tell if they're retelling the same story or every 100 years a hero is born or.
yeah,
Yeah. But
I don't know.
this continuity is great, though. I like that there's, what's that old, she was old in Breath of the Wild and she's young in this game. She's like,
Impa.
Impa.
Yeah,
She's like young and hot in this game. And like, I love her storyline. She's such a badass.
she's also one of my favorite characters. So, like she's super
Hmm.
fun to play. But yeah, I am also like if you do the side quest, if you actually finish a certain side quest, you will unlock some hidden characters. I actually unlocked the Great Fairy.
Oh, the
From Breath of
gigantic, the
Wild.
big
The
one.
gigantic lady.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As
So
like a
it's
summon
you
or a
actually
playable character.
no, you play her. You play as her. She is ginormous. She is a
Oh,
huge character.
cool. That's cool.
Um, and she's actually like you play all 4 fairies. It's just that you have a fountain that is you moving around the fountain, and the lady pops up from the fountain.
How
Um,
interesting. They did manage to switch it up then. I mean,
they
okay,
did.
so for me, I've turned on the game twice and I'm like, oh, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. It's going through the same maps. They're kind of condensed a little bit. Um, and the hack and slash was just so repetitive for me that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it felt like such a chore. How much do I have to go through that before I start encountering things that are different? Like I saw in the trailer that there's like big walking, what do they call those? The
The Guardians.
guardians, big walking guardians that you can get into that
Yeah.
switch it up. How long do I have to play before I encounter like just
Uh,
things that are not just hack and slash? You know?
I don't know because like again I've done so much side stuff and if you don't do the side stuff you might probably within a few hours probably. I
Yeah.
mean
Oh God.
I mean a story mission will usually take about like a half an hour 40
Mhm.
minutes with the cutscenes. So well yeah maybe 8 missions in or something like that. When you start encountering other stuff. But then again, you're basically doing the same thing over and over again, like each map.
Yeah.
I don't think they introduced that much new elements, except from the new characters. But they all kind of play similarly. But yeah,
How many hours in are you?
I actually never watched it. I don't know. I have no clue because I've been playing. Just like I've been playing about half an hour each day for a
That's
very
kind
long time.
of
So,
you. Would
yeah.
you suggest that's how to go about it? Like just
Yeah,
do
I
like a
would.
mission a day instead of just trying to sit through the whole
Yeah,
thing. I think I was just trying to power through it to get to the story,
yeah.
but I think if I just put in a few minutes here and there, I think that's probably
That
the better
is,
way for me.
I think that would be the way to go because if you're gonna power through it, it's gonna get really repetitive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
that would be my suggestion.
That's
Yeah,
Hyrule
I'm
Warriors
having
with
fun.
Ilker. So
It's
far,
Hyrule
so good.
Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far so good.
All right.
Lastly, I played a new game actually. This is well, it's not new. It's new for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a game that has been in my Steam library for a very long time.
Uh-huh.
I bought it on a sale. I don't remember when. Maybe 2016 or 17. I don't remember. But I've talked your ears off with a game called Sakuna of Rise and Ruin,
Yes.
which is made by a studio called Edelweiss. Edelweiss? Yeah.
Oh, Edelweiss, like the German flour
Edelweiss.
or Swiss flour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I looked up a while ago Edelweiss what other games they've done, and they actually made like this game that I had bought for a lot of like many years ago,
Yeah.
which is called Asterbreed. Yeah, it's just called Asterbreed. Asterbreed.
Estebreed.
Asterbreed.
Yeah.
I played the definitive edition, and this is a Japanese shoot 'em up
it's a
game.
shmup. It's a shoot 'em up.
It is.
It's been so long since I played a shoot 'em up. But this, from the gameplay footage, it looks like there's like they switch from like Star Fox view to like shoot 'em up side scroller view.
Yeah. They changed perspective actually from side scrolling to like top down, and you will see from the back like third person, and it's really good. I had a really fun time playing this. Like any shoot 'em up, they are usually pretty short. So like if you're good, you'll probably finish this game within 30-40 minutes.
So what's the draw of this game? Does it do anything different aside from switching it up? Does it do anything different that other shoot 'em ups have not done?
Well, I haven't played that many different shoot 'em ups. Like you have your regular shoot button. You can shoot. You do your melee sword attack.
It looks like it's got close combat kind of stuff, right?
Yep, and that also works as a shield. You can actually like parry certain attacks.
Oh, interesting! It kind of looks like a shoot 'em up Metal Slug, right? Like Metal Slug it's like a platform, a 2D platforming shooter, but like when people get close to you, you can like slash them and stuff like this. But this looks a little more strategic, which is cool.
What this game does a little differently, the way it plays, is that you also have a target lock where you can lock enemies, and you basically shoot out like missiles that will damage the enemies over time. Basically, if you play the StarCraft, the first one, you have the carriers that will shoot out their like inceptors, I think they're called. That is what that attack is like. You lock on a target and just shoot out the small light bulbs.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember the reaction like when I saw this game on Steam. I was like, oh, okay, this is a mech game. There seems to be some anime in this as well. Straight up my type of game.
Are there like anime cutscenes?
There is one in the middle and one cutscene at the end. So all the story exposition is actually done during combat, during gameplay, which is maybe not the best way to present a story, because like a lot of shit is happening on the screen at the same time, and the game is in Japanese as well. And like I can understand a few words in Japanese, but like someone telling me telling me stuff, I won't understand that.
Oh, interesting. So all the spoken dialogue is in Japanese.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, it's actually like everything is voiced, which is really cool. But like what's most impressive about this game is like it came out in 2014. It's made by Edelweiss, and Edelweiss is just two people. Like these are just two guys that have regular jobs. So they actually develop games on the part-time.
Wow.
Which is super, super cool. And like like looking at this game, and like they went from this game to making Sakuna. This is the game that they did before Sakuna.
Very different.
Yeah, definitely. Before this game, they actually made two other shoot 'em up games. So
it seems like
started in that genre.
They're taking games that they grew up with and they loved, and they're just making the best possible version of it, or their favorite version of it, right? Because I love shoot 'em ups, but I'll admit, like I played a lot of Raiden when I was younger because it just stood out to me in the arcade, super fun. But yeah, they get old after a while, right? Like many arcade games. But this one looks different.
Yeah, you're kind of hitting the nail there as well, because like shoot 'em ups for me is so nostalgic, because that is a part of like the games I played in my childhood, like growing up, because they were more. I think they were more popular back then.
Yeah.
For me, that this game is really reminiscent of like Dreamcast era or PlayStation 2 era, and
Yeah.
like the soundtrack is like straight up early 2000s. Like it's
Oh, nice. Like
really good soundtrack.
J-pop-y kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
Nice.
like
Oh, that's fun.
the tracks from the game, they are music that you would probably hear from a DDR machine at an
Yes.
arcade.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Dialogue with some guy like really enthusiastically saying like power and stuff like that. The last shoot 'em up I've played was Ikaruga. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, that's a classic. I never played it. That was a game I wanted to buy on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
But back then I didn't have any money. I was a kid.
Same.
I had to prioritize I bought other games basically. But that was a game that I really wanted, but I never actually got. Like,
it was the last very inventive shoot 'em up I've ever played, but like it was one of those brain benders because like you were more powerful if you shot enemies with this bullet, but this other bullet was coming at you, so you needed to turn on the other bullet to shield you.
Yeah, between like white or black carrier.
And it was smart, but like there was I remember the reason why I found it was because there was a footage that came out of someone playing with two joysticks, so they're controlling two different planes, and their brain was working in such a way that they can control them independently and switch back and forth. I was like blown away, and I couldn't even beat the first level. That's how hard it was.
I'm actually happy that I didn't spend my childhood money to buy that game, because I would have been so disappointed.
Yes,
because that game, it looks too hard for someone like
exactly.
That 14.
It's inaccessible. Yeah, I would say it's great. It's a great game for me to bring out every now and then and show people like, hey, look at this crazy ass game. But I have never like. I'd rather sit through Battletoads and try to beat that than try to beat the first level of Ikaruga again. You know?
But yeah, talking about difficult, this game is fairly easy. I think the last two bosses were when I started struggling, but other than that, it's a really easy game.
Nice.
But I mean, that's nice too. It was a good palate cleanser, basically.
So you beat it.
I beat it, yeah. I beat it on normal. You unlock hard mode after you beat the game first time. I didn't have an incentive to play it again. Like it has score system, so you can go back and try to beat your score, basically.
Like nowadays, I don't jump back into games for that kind of stuff. Like if I get the story, then I'm good. I'll move on. Currently adding Asta Breed Definitive Edition to my wish list.
You should like that. You can enjoy that. It's a good 1 hour game.
Oh, it's an hour game. Yeah, like a good solid arcade game.
Yeah,
that's accessible. Nice. Will do.
And yeah, like Edelweiss is probably one of my favorite studios right now. I'm actually like really impressed with stuff they put out. Like they haven't put out that many games, but I'm really liking them.
I think that's the cool thing about indie games, right? I consider Edelweiss indie for sure, because what you do is if they're small enough, then you kind of get a sense of their flavor and their design philosophy and stuff like that, and you get to see them evolve, as opposed to like a gigantic studio like EA or whatever. Like they do whatever is hot and huge, and like you can't really get a theme for them. You can't really follow them as they grow, you know?
Sure. But then again, like going from this game to Sakuna of Rise and Ruin, which is like a 30-hour game, it's a pretty big leap, actually. Like it's a big step. But then again, they put this out in 2014, so they'll probably be working on that, like on Sakuna for a long time.
Probably, yeah. Wild. But yeah, so that is Asta Breed, if that's how you pronounce it. Shout out to our 2 viewers in chat right now, possibly Russian bots.
And me.
Our one Russian bot and Ilker in chat.
Yeah. So Brian, how about what games have you been playing since last time?
Games that I have been playing. Let's see. So I am a subscriber of Game Pass. So what I do is every week, if there's a new hot game or something that looks interesting, I like download it as a bookmark, and throughout the week I try to check it off. The past few weeks, before I get into that, I've been really getting back into Destiny 2, as I've shown you and Simon through chat. They are currently independent because they used to be part of Activision, I believe, and they split off on their own. I wouldn't call them indie, but they are independent, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Because so Destiny was the first kind of looter shooter that I got into. Because I tried Borderlands, didn't like it. For some reason, Destiny really spoke to me, and the core gameplay loop, the gunplay, all that stuff was really fun for me. And chasing the loot was great. The team activities are really fun. And I've made some of like the closest friends online through that game, so it holds a special spot in my heart. But with that said, even though I have a bias with Destiny 2, this season has been very good. They adopted the season pass from Fortnite, so you get, as you progress, you get more buffs and more weapons, and drops become more consistent that you want, that kind of stuff. But also there's some really interesting gear, really interesting guns to get, right? So like they notoriously have this game that comes only on the weekends called Trials of Osiris, and you have to bring your best gear. You have to bring your best game and your best teammates because it's a high level activity. And you can get some really rare guns there. And I was like, I'm not good. I'm a weekend player. But they made a thing where, hey, this week, if you just try out Trials and get this one bounty, all you have to do is play the game 10 times. It doesn't matter if you lose or win. If you play that game mode 10 times, you'll automatically get this god tier gun. So that made me jump back into what's called the Crucible, which is their like PvP arena.
Okay.
And that's the gameplay that I'm showing right now, which is like, I won't shut up about it. Like I did so well.
Is this you playing as well?
Yeah. I did so well. I was like, this is like Destiny at its best, when it makes you have this power fantasy and you feel like a damn god playing the game. It was so fun. But yeah, so I've been really into that.
Is that what like makes you come back to the game? Is it the PvP? Because for me, Destiny, I thought it was a PvE game where you like basically do raids, but I guess the PvP is.
Yeah, I mean, well, so it's former Halo people. So like Halo in its day was like peak PvP. Like no one could touch it until Call of Duty came around. But I would say Destiny is the next evolution of that. What happens with those tight PvP mechanics if you add powers and you add interesting guns with buffs and stuff like that? So I'm not a huge PvP player, but there's a huge base that only plays PvP and nothing else. And there you can also get the same, for the most part, most of the same guns in PvP as you do PvE. And there's a game mode that is kind of like MOBA as well, where it's 3 versus 3. You guys are trying to beat your own monster, boss monster on your side, and they're trying to beat theirs on their side. And every like 5 minutes, you can invade the other person's side and kill them so they can get delayed in killing their boss. It's really fun and it has a lot of potential. But for some reason, it's not clicking with people. But I enjoy it. It's called Gambit.
What other like sci-fi FPSs are there that are this big?
Oh, man, Warframe is the only other one that I can think of that is the next big one. But that has never captured as many people as Destiny. You know, I think the Division, it was pretty close and was cool, but yeah, still the fall off was really big and they didn't really support it that much.
Yeah.
And the next one is, what's that one coming out? Outriders is the next looter shooter coming out that people are really optimistic about. And they're like, hey, if you like Destiny, play Outriders. That's the next thing. And that's going to be on Game Pass console, but not PC. But I'm excited to play that one when it comes out. Because, yeah, if there's someone that could challenge Destiny, great. I'm willing to play it. But so far, nothing has really come close to scratching the itch that Destiny has for me, you know?
Are you an FPS guy?
Only if it's interesting story. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all kind of the same, right? So Destiny's lore is amazing and it's really awesome. Excited to see where they take it. It's like filled with like worm gods and alien races that create their own gods and become gods and stuff like that. It's kind of very anime-esque, and they take on themes like Western themes and movie tropes, and the storytelling's just great. But yeah, so that's Destiny 2 for me. Another game that I played that was specifically found through Game Pass was Ghost of a Tale. Let me update the title here. Ghost of a Tale. Did you hear about this one?
I have not.
It was really interesting to me. It was, I believe, I could be butchering it, but former DreamWorks employee took that kind of design philosophy, made this like really beautiful world of like this mouse that wakes up in a prison and he has to escape from these rats. Really beautiful graphics, really beautiful gameplay, cool world building. I just couldn't get into it because the controls were very clunky. I wasn't entirely sure if I was playing it right. But yeah, I think the controls kind of ruined it for me. I was thinking I was going to play some more of it, but I was like, it's not worth it. But the story was really intriguing. The story is like you wake up, you have this like girl that you lost, and apparently you have to meet her at the top of this tower. And I stopped when I got into the main courtyard about to get to the tower because I was just so frustrated. It's part sneaking game like Metal Gear and part like RPG loot based system, which in principle sounds great, but in execution it wasn't.
Is it a pacifist game? Is there any combat, or do you just sneak around?
That's a good point. It is mostly sneaking, and all the weapons you gain are to help you sneak better. So you can get bottles and you can get sticks, but it's only to. I don't think you can kill anything in the game. It's kind of like non-violent like that. Yeah, you knock them out, and so when you do knock them out, you knock them out temporarily. I think the game had a lot of promise, but yeah, like it's relatively unknown because I guess it just didn't really. It wasn't a great sneaking game. Like at least if you're going to be a sneaking game, at least be as good as the first Metal Gear, and it wasn't like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a great RPG game, you know, or looter game. Okay. So yeah, environmental puzzles were very meh. It was just kind of very. It's the worst place to be with a game, which is very forgettable and like 4 or 5 out of 10, you know, for me.
Yeah, because it looks great. I mean, they seem to have nailed the graphics of it.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, there were. I have a just plan that I did earlier this week with it, and there's a moment where the sun is shining through the window and the volumetric lighting there, and the light that shines through your ears make your ears kind of semi-transparent. I was like, that's such a nice touch. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
You know. Yeah. But yeah, that's Ghost of a Tale. A lot of potential. Kind of fell flat for me. Yeah. And then the other game I've been playing is Dead by Daylight, surprisingly enough, was revived for me because I had a craving for it. And my old game group on Xbox I never play with anymore. I hit them up and I was like, anybody want to play? And we played for a couple sessions. And I played with my buddy Gordon, who I recently convinced to get a PC. And that's free on Game Pass. So we played that and it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever played it before, Dead by Daylight?
I have not. Is it the zombie game where like co-op? Is it?
No, it's a cooperative, asymmetrical cooperative game. So you're in an arena and you're basically playing hide and go seek with your friends while there's a murderer chasing you. And the murderer,
monster.
It has a lot of support. Like they've had expansions where Michael Myers has his own stage. He can be the boss. Stranger Things, they had you can be one of the Demigorgons, I believe, and one of the characters from Stranger Things you can play as and stuff like that. But it's hide and go seek with your friends in a digital space. You're running around trying to fix these generators to turn on all the lights and then open up a gate so that you can escape. It's heavily skewed towards the killer, so the killer more often than not wins. But it is very possible for the survivors to win, and it is very satisfying, very fun. I have a lot more fun playing as a survivor and losing than I do as a killer and winning, you know?
Is it 4-player?
5 players, I believe, because I think you can have 4 survivors and 1 monster, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Very, very, very. We should play somiime if you have Game Pass or the trial at least.
I would love to play that. Yeah. That
also, I believe Anna said that she might have some game codes left from when she used to work with them. That'd be really fun. It's so fun. Like I've never like squirmed like a kid more than playing Dead by Daylight. It's really, really great.
Can you revive anyone who's been taken up by the murderer?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, with the hide and go seek mechanics, what's great is that there's no radar. So as the killer, you go by sound and you go by blood trail. So if you wound the person, you can follow their blood trail. It's pretty obvious. But also if you're running away, it's like real life, and like you can run away and then hide and not move. And as long as you're not moving, the zombie can't see you if you're in a bush, because there's no
Okay.
radar. Um,
Uh,
but also like they can grab you and they can basically crucify you, and you have like a small window of staying alive while your friends can take you off the hook and like you
okay.
heal you up. But if you're not healed, then they can follow your blood trail, and it's really well balanced, I think, and it's really fun. You can
Okay.
add buffs. Every killer has a different um, advantage and like secret power and
Mhm.
stuff like that. It's cool. Highly
I'm down for
recommend
playing
it.
that.
Yeah, especially if you're on Game Pass, give it a try. Totally worth it. I think, yeah, all these games that I've been playing are on Game Pass. Destiny 2 is only on Game Pass on console, but yeah, it's free to play anyway if you want to dip your toes in. Um, so that's what I've been playing.
Cool.
So
There's a
why
few
don't
games.
we change channels for a bit and talk about the games we're excited to play?
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. I have
So
one game
yeah,
I'm
what
excited to play.
game are you excited to be playing this week or in the future?
It's going to be Monster Hunter Rise, which releases tomorrow.
Mm,
I pre-ordered it. I'm gonna go pick it up on my lunch break tomorrow. I'm really excited.
nice. I hear good
Yeah.
things. It's no secret that you and I follow Giant Bomb like
Both of them.
religion.
Basically.
Yeah, Giant Bomb and
Yeah.
Giant Beastcast like religion. They're great set of dudes, really entertaining to watch and listen to, and I respect their opinions wholeheartedly.
Huge fan.
But they were saying some good things about Monster Hunter Rise, and all the things that I were inaccessible to me in Monster Hunter World that seems like they fixed in Rise. They like streamlined a lot of things, made things less complicated. Although for Monster
Yeah.
Hunter World, the universe of Monster Hunter, that's not saying much because Monster Hunter has always been like Matrix for me, like just so much shit.
Same here. Like I think I like the idea of playing Monster Hunter more than I actually enjoy playing it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna give this game a shot as well. I gave the other game, the Monster Hunter World, a chance. I fell out like I fell really hard off from that game
Yeah,
because there were too many menus, and I think my TV was like a little bit too bad quality because the text was so small, and I couldn't actually read it on my TV sitting in
mm,
the couch.
right, right, right. God, what
I had that
other?
problem.
There's other games out this week.
Are there?
Sorry, go. Have you played the other Monster Hunter games?
I played the one on PlayStation Vita, but I can't remember which one that is.
Did you
Monster
get
Hunter
into
3?
any of the other ones at all?
No, not really.
Yeah,
Not
I mean
really.
they all just kind of seemed a bit inaccessible
I
for me. At first when it came out, I
yeah,
always thought it was a generic Pokemon knockoff. I didn't really follow them until
yeah,
they hit like next gen consoles.
yeah. Same. It's the same for me. Yeah, I thought it was just a knockoff on Pokemon, but I played on PlayStation Vita a game called Freedom Wars, which is a Monster Hunter type game, um, made by I think are they called the Tokyo Studio Tokyo?
Not
Well, one
familiar
of
with
the
them.
official PlayStation Sony production companies in Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it is basically Monster Hunter, but it's anime and it's sci-fi or post-apocalyptic future.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, for
Yeah,
me, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna ask, what are you looking for?
I'm
Looking.
looking forward to playing It Takes Two. I posted it on our
Oh,
group. I'm really excited about it.
talking
Um,
about giant pockets, did you watch their quick look of that game?
no, I have it queued up though, ready to play it.
Okay, just watch it.
I was entranced by it because the trailer had a Fleetwood Mac song playing, and I love Fleetwood Mac. It is a puzzle platformer game that also is co-op. I love co-op games.
Yeah,
The people that made this game made the game Brothers, Tale
yep.
of Two Brothers, or I
Yes.
forget what it's called, but Brothers, which is a
Brothers,
phenomenal co-op
brothers.
game.
Yeah.
And that,
The studio's called Light.
yeah, and the other game they played was like Two Prisoners, that is a cooperative exclusively game. I forget what
A
it's
Way
called.
Out.
A Way Out. There you
Way Out.
go. And the both A Way Out and It Takes Two, only one person needs to own the game and both people can play, even if it's online co-op, which is really cool. So I think I might buy it so that other people can play. I do know that the game centers around this kid coping with divorce, which is kind of close to home, and I want to play it more because I'm trying to write a short film for my niece about coping with her divorce. So I want to kind of watch and see how they handle it, because a lot of the time it's so like hammy and like, oh, you got to feel emo, and not so many people know how to deal with divorce in a respectful way that is not so hammy, you know?
I'm not sure if they do it in a respectful way, but yeah, you should play it and see it for yourself. I watched a quick look and I was just cringing for the story. Like
Oh
the gameplay
no.
looks fun, but yeah, the story I'm
Yeah.
probably not in. I would not play that game for the story.
Yeah. Well, so I watched another reviewer that I really appreciated this morning called
Yeah.
ACG. He's great
Okay.
because he doesn't do super short reviews. He prides himself on going, I don't do short reviews. I'm comprehensive. And he talks about every single possible category, you know, which is nice.
Respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he rates on a scale of like buy, wait for a sale, or don't touch. I think there's something in between somewhere. And he says like he loves it. Like the story is cheesy as fuck, but the gameplay is really, really fun and really satisfying. And he even warrants like 2 playthroughs because both characters play so differently. So like one's initiator, one's support, right? So like you play through it as the guy doll, it's one experience. You play through as a girl doll, it's another experience. But he said the gameplay itself is really, really fun. Sometimes with indie studios, like you don't expect a great storytelling, but sometimes like they surprise you. And yeah, from what I saw, like the kid crying and their divorce tears falling on the dolls, like so like, come on, bro.
Because like I never get the brothers right. They are 2 brothers that one of them runs the studio, and I can't remember if it's Fares or Yusuf Fares. One of them. The producers, like he is the guy that owns the company. At least he is a well, I mean, I would say he's a famous director in Sweden. So he has directed some movies that had some success here in Sweden, but yeah, kind of puts his director skills into games nowadays.
Nice. Yeah. I think I heard about that. Like, basically, it's like a all-star cast coming together to make this game. Like, just like the pedigree of people that came together to make this game. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like games are weird because if you are putting a critical lens to a movie, you look at it from one perspective, right? But with games, like it's so weird that you can get a really awful story. Like, not saying this has an awful story, but you can have an awful story, but the game itself is so fun that it makes up for everything, right? Like, look at all the Mario games have been like, hey, princess is kidnapped, go save the princess. But they're so fun. Like, I don't think Mario has said more than 10 words in any of his games, you know? But it's just fun. And then sometimes you can have both. Great story, great gameplay. Or simple gameplay done really well. Right?
Wahoo.
Wahoo! Yeah, exactly. This is the most syllables he's ever uttered. So I believe that comes out this week. Really excited to kind of jump in on that regardless. And no pressure, but if you'd want to play cooperative with me, I'd be down to play online or off.
I would be down to that as well. I'm not sure if I can do it this weekend, but
yeah.
We could try.
Yeah, I will let you know. We can stream it or not. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to play it.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Aside from what the golf, because I have not started our monthly game yet. Have you?
Me neither. No, actually, I've not started.
I think that's the curse of knowing that a game is only 3 hours long. Is that you can start it the morning of and have a good opinion of it.
I need to play that at least just to have something to contribute to the discussion. But yeah, I wanted to play something new to talk about this week.
Yeah.
So I played Asteroid instead. I'm happy with my choice.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I have time tomorrow, so I might do that. Play it tomorrow. But yeah, I anticipate trying to work my way through until I hit a frustrating point, because Sana said that there's a really hard section that she's been trying to deal with. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's It's an indie darling. It's a very, very indie game in that like there are cameos from other game. Like it looks like I always get Gang Beast and Human Fall Flat confused, but it looks like there's a level based on that indie game, which is kind of neat, and possibly other indie games, which is really cool.
Yep.
So I'm excited to check it out. Yeah.
I'm gonna play it on Saturday. I think that's gonna be I think I'm gonna play it in the morning. I think that's gonna be a great like breakfast game.
Nice. Yeah. That's what's great. We've had some pretty heavy games with like big stories and stuff. So this is like a nice palate cleanser to kind of get us into the new year, I think. Right.
Yep.
Great.
You wanna transition into?
Yeah. How about this? Why don't we take a quick break? We can pause the stream or stop the stream and then start it back up again, and then we can go offline and kind of talk about how we want to do it. But yeah, stay tuned if you're watching now. We are gonna hop back on stream and talk about our playthrough of Little Nightmares because we finished it this week. Cool. Mm-hmm. So we will be right back. Few minutes. Bye bye.